Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing a kind of huge suburban style house. So this is a 4-bed, 3-bathroom build set on a 40 by 40 lot in Brindleton Bay, and it comes in at just less than 188,000 simoleons. So at the moment I'm building a little bit of anything and everything and I'm really enjoying it. But I was having a little look around in The Sims the other day and I noticed the world of Brindleton Bay, and I thought to myself, wow, I've not built in Brindleton Bay yet since I've been back. And this particular lot I used to build on all the time, to the point where people were like, I really love these houses, Kim, but there's only so many 40 by 40 lots in the game. And I can't fit any more of your builds on. So I just thought, well, let's add another one. So it's been a while since I've built here, and I just wanted to build something that it's not in like the Brindleton Bay style. It's just a big suburban house and just a huge family home, and I just wanted to have a little play around and see what I could come up with. So I must admit, now we're quite a few packs into the game, I'm kind of a bit spoilt for choice with worlds, and it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing, but there are actually some really, really beautiful worlds in The Sims, and Brindleton Bay is definitely one of them. I think the only thing that I never liked about Brindleton Bay was literally this grass texture. It's just... I think they tried something different and then realised that not a lot of people liked it, and so went back to, you know, their original kind of terrain look. But this particular grass just, you know, doesn't do it for me at all. So I always end up building some kind of perimeter around the house and then kind of reshading it with different terrain, just to, it's quite nice actually, because it gives it a little bit of a pop and makes it look like the lawn is like really well cared for. So I wasn't actually going for any particular look with this house. It's not any particular style of house. I just wanted to sort of play around, try a few different windows, a few different colours, just see what I could come up with. And I placed a load of windows first, and then I went in and replaced them with different styles of windows. And that's one of the things that I really love doing actually, is just kind of mixing up different sets of windows now to create something that looks quite unique really, because I always think like if you build something and you're kind of mixing up the windows and mixing up the doors, then you're bound to build something that's kind of unique to yourself, if you know what I mean. Also, I'm absolutely living for this particular wallpaper, and I must have included it in the majority of the builds that I've done so far. The wallpaper that kind of looks a little bit like bricks. I'm not sure which pack that actually comes from. I can see it on the screen, but the screen that I'm editing on is just too small, so I can't tell you which pack it is, but that is one of my favourite wallpapers. I just absolutely love it. I think it just looks very sort of charming, if you know what I mean. It's like that very cottagey sort of look, and I just love it. So I hope you're all well and you've all had an amazing week so far. I actually had a little play around the other night. Now, I did a poll on Twitter the other week about doing stop motion speed builds, and I also asked you guys what you thought. Now, I know that the majority of you have said that you don't prefer stop motion, you prefer actually listening to somebody go about their day-to-day business and, you know, watching the whole sort of build process. And I totally agree. I think that I really enjoy sort of building in this style. I enjoy showing you how I do it, because that's one of the things that I love the most about doing YouTube, and the reason why I do these videos is because if I can help somebody in any way to build better or give somebody ideas or anything like that, then that's just brilliant. Absolutely makes my day. So I'm with you on the fact that I love seeing the building process. But after some thought, I thought I might actually do some stop motion videos as well. But I'm not going to switch completely to stop motion. I think I'm going to give it a go and, you know, see what I think, and maybe just put in the odd one here and there, but I'll never completely switch over, because I do actually like doing these sort of, you know, I like my voiceovers to be a little bit personal, even if I do think I talk a load of garbage. But I do like having that kind of interaction, between creator and, viewers sort of thing. I like, all of that. So I'm not going to give that up at all. But I think it'd be nice to just try something a little bit different. And, I think there's a lot of people out there that do actually like stop motion. I must admit, I was actually watching a couple of these the other night, and I did actually find it quite relaxing. I did quite enjoy it. I can understand why some people don't like the panning of the camera every 5 seconds. So it is something I need to kind of think about how I'm going to do it. Now, it's not actually a straightforward process either. I think it's one of those processes that once you get used to it, it becomes a lot easier. But it's actually very sort of fiddly to do, and it's quite time consuming as well. So hence me, probably sticking the majority of the time to this particular format, because I'd rather upload a lot more frequently, and doing stop motion wouldn't be something that I would be able to do on a frequent basis. But I was actually thinking that initially it might be nice to do some of my smaller builds as stop motion, and maybe do my larger builds as ordinary speed builds. That way, we can have a nice long chat, and, you can see the building process on something that's much larger and more intricate. And maybe do it that way. But let me know what you think. I'm going to give it a go, and if you don't like it, I completely understand. But I just don't want you to see it and think, oh no, she's switching to stop motion, that's it. Because no, you're still going to put up with my rubbish commentating, or it's not commentating, is it? Just like chit chat. You know what I mean? But to be honest, I don't even know if I can do it yet, because I actually had to play around with it the other night, and I was playing around with it with my Gothic build that I've just uploaded, and it was just a nightmare. In the end, I was like, you know what? I can't be bothered. Like, this is taking too much time. And so, yeah, because otherwise I'd have probably done it a little bit sooner. But then I thought, well, no, I'd rather explain to you guys that I'm going to give it a whirl, and, just sort of say it's not going to be forever type thing. But just coming back to the build, I'm working on the landscaping at the moment, and I absolutely loved this garden. I loved it. It's actually a lot of house on this particular lot, but when I look at it with the garden empty, it's quite in proportion. But when I finished it, it did sort of look like the garden was quite small. I did actually ask my husband what he thought of it, and he was like, yeah, it's nice, but if I'd pay all that money for a house that big, I'd want a bit of land with it. I'd want a couple of like acres and that. So I was like, oh, shut up. Shut up, you don't know anything. But actually, now that I look at it, it's not a bad size. It's actually all right. I think because I fill it out so much with border plants and trees and stuff like that, it sort of fills it up quite a lot. But oh, I loved it. I found these little bushes in the debug menu, and they just made like the perfect little border. I didn't have to size them up or down. It worked. I love finding little things as well to decorate my borders with. I don't know if anyone noticed, but in my recent Mediterranean build, I actually used, I think it was like unfinished wooden building blocks. I think they were actually from the kind of woodworking bench, but I spotted them and I was like, you know what? I think that'll work. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but nobody commented, but I just thought it had a really nice little finish to it. So yeah, I quite like finding things that I can use for my borders, and I loved those bushes. So I hope you're all well and you're all having a fantastic week so far. Mine has been a little bit on the stressful side, to say the least. In fact, I could probably write a book of like toddler adventures or the life of a toddler or something along those lines, because wow, my daughter is just, she actually did really, really well for a bit, and she kind of calmed down, and I thought we were sort of past the crazy phase. But when toddlers in The Sims 4 go outside, they get all the paint out and they just throw it everywhere. Well, that's kind of happening in real life. Except for instead of with paint, it's with my eyeshadow. So today I'm sat down and I actually keep my bedroom door locked. And I have to keep it locked because if I don't, she goes in there, she's in my makeup, she's in my drawers, she's turfing everything out. So we decided to keep it locked and everything's quite safe in there. So that's quite good. But today I went up into my bedroom and I was sorting some washing out, doing just some mundane stuff. And at some point, she must have been into my drawer and swiped a kind of eyeshadow palette that had about 5 different shades of like blacks and greys without me knowing. So we came back downstairs, we're going about our business. Anyway, next minute she comes up and she kind of like throws me this eyeshadow palette. And I turn round and she was black from head to toe. Her clothes were borted. I looked down at this eyeshadow palette and 3 of the little trays were empty. And I just turned round and my entire well, not my entire carpet, that is an exaggeration, but all of my carpet in front of my sofa was completely covered in eyeshadow. I was like, oh my God, child. So I ended up having to run and grab the carpet cleaner and just desperately try and partially hoover it and partially clean it to get it out. But she is just like, she's one unto herself. And the drawing everywhere at the moment, each one of my kids has gone through a phase where they've done some drawing on the walls. And actually the funny thing is, well, it's not so funny, but one of my earliest memories was actually when I remember being in my cot, and I don't know how old I was, but I must have been very, very young. And I remember drawing in crayon on the wall. Well, that's come back to haunt me. I think you could probably call that karma, actually, because every single time she finds some sort of pen or pencil, I find a new fresh doodle on the wall, to the point where I've had to like scoop every single pen and pencil up in the house and try and hide them, but she still keeps finding them everywhere. So I mean, obviously all my kids are in school as well, so there's pens and pencils, in pencil cases and in bags. And obviously my kids are quite creative as well. They like doing a lot of painting and art stuff, especially my daughter. So we've got a lot of stuff in the house which is like creative kind of materials. So she just finds stuff everywhere. And honestly, I painted the house from top to bottom the other week, and I didn't paint the entire house. I kind of like just touched up each room with some paint that we had left over. And the amount of doodles I found on the wall, just little tiny ones. And so I painted everywhere and I just couldn't believe how many I'd found. Anyway, she's since done fresh ones and she's been told off. I'm to the point now where I'm like, please just grow out of this phase, because I'm just going to permanently have to have a paintbrush in my hand at this rate. But I am very excited because it's nearly Thursday, and Thursday means it's Love is Blind's finale, and I can't wait to watch that. And if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I explained it in another video, but basically my best friend has got me into this program on Netflix called Love is Blind, and it's not ordinarily my cup of tea, but I do like car crash TV. I'm just like, I love anything like that, and Love is Blind has just been absolutely brilliant, and it's basically the finale tomorrow, so I can't wait to watch it. My best friend even said to me today, she was like, you know what, I might even stay up till midnight and watch it. Woo! I know. But yeah, I think that's about the highlight of my week this week, is watching Love is Blind. But yeah, I'm going to be a little bit lost, like a bit of a lost puppy after that finishes. I always am. When you get into something on Netflix and then, I love it, especially when I can find something that's got loads of seasons and I can just binge watch it. But then you sort of feel a bit empty when it finishes and you don't really know what to do with yourself. So for me, yeah, I'm going to be a bit lost after that. Although I've just watched The Pharmacist on Netflix, and that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but that was quite an interesting watch as well. But I watch all sorts of rubbish, really. I love crime stuff, and I really love crime podcasts. I always listen to podcasts whenever I'm doing editing, and I love listening to like true crime stories and stuff. But yeah, I kind of like true crime sort of programs and documentaries. But then I also, on the flip side, love lots of like TV sort of like Love Island and Love is Blind and just daft programs, really. But yeah, if you've got any Netflix recommendations or Prime TV recommendations, then let me know, because I'd be really interested in finding something else to watch. Also, whilst I'm talking about recommendations, let me know if you have any build suggestions as well, because I seem to be building like an absolute Trojan at the moment. So if there's anything that you'd like to see, then leave it in the comments section and I'll have a look and make a note of it and see what I can come up with. So I'm just moving on to the upstairs interior now, and if you can hear any clicking in the background, I apologise, it's my husband. He's playing Mass Effect for like the 50th time, and yeah, he loves it, gets very animated, so I apologise for that, but I'm just working on this little toddler bedroom now. I did actually make some themed bedrooms for upstairs, in the sense of, you know, like this is a little boy's toddler room, and then I made a little, like, I think it was a teenage girl's room, and then I made a younger boy's bedroom and a master bedroom. But ultimately you can put whoever you want in any of these bedrooms and just change the colour swatches if it's not to your taste. But I quite like them. I thought this room was quite sweet as well, and it was like a nice size for a toddler, because toddlers don't really need massive bedrooms or massive spaces, so I thought it was a nice size room. But I do love this university furniture that we've got with the university pack, because I just love the swatches. This purple in this bed is just, I love that swatch of bed. I think it's so pretty. So yeah, I enjoyed actually furnishing these bedrooms upstairs, and it was quite fun, really. So I've actually been keeping my eyes peeled for the next pack that's due to be released by The Sims 4, and I have no idea what could possibly be coming next, but I'm keeping an eye out just to see, you know, what's coming up on the grapevine. But at this point I have absolutely no idea what they could possibly release. I don't think there's anything that I really want to see specifically. I would like to see spiral staircases, I'm lying. And I'd also like to see a variety of, you know, like some more different pets, like interactive pets, I think I'd like to see. But there's nothing actually majorly that I'd like at this point in the game. I feel quite content. I just think anything else is a bonus. For me, I only ever wanted really seasons to come out and pets. I always remember being let down by cats and dogs, in the sense that, you know, I definitely wanted more pets. I remember in The Sims 3 when we had pets, and it was like we had horses that we could play with. Oh, I loved playing with the horses in that game. I spent a lot of time doing that. They were the only two packs I actually had in The Sims 3, was seasons and pets, but I missed it. You know, like I still miss it, but I can't play The Sims 3 anymore. Like, I loved that game, and I used to build in that game all the time. That's where my building journey started. It did actually start a long time before that, because I played all the Sims, but it majorly started in The Sims 3. But since I've been playing The Sims 4, going back to try and play The Sims 3, just can't do it. Just cannot do it for the life of me. It's ridiculous. It's like I've never played the game before. I don't get it. But I always remember going from The Sims 3 to The Sims 4 and hating it, and being like, how am I ever going to play The Sims 4? I mean, it does help, obviously, that you can change the camera to The Sims 3 camera, but I missed it. I missed The Sims 3. There's a lot of things I do miss about it. I feel like we had a lot more in that than what we've had in The Sims 4. But I wouldn't take it back, in the sense of, I think The Sims 4 is much more bug-free. Definitely not as glitchy. I mean, even now, if I go to play The Sims 3, it's just a lagging hot mess. But I just can't get over the fact there's going to be a Sims 5. But to be fair, I mean, obviously there was going to be a Sims 5 because the Sims franchise just aren't slowing down at all. I mean, they're still just as popular as they've ever been. But what is the Sims 5 going to even be like? Is it going to be complete? Is it going to be like real life? Someone mentioned about like it being online as well, and it's like how can you play online in The Sims? Like, I hope it doesn't end up being a little bit, you know, a bit seedy and a bit weird. Playing with strangers online just seems a bit dodgy to me. But I'm open-minded. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I am literally waffling utter rubbish now. So, yeah, I'm just working on the last room. I actually like this room. I thought it was quite nice and neutral, and I don't know what the word is for this room, but I liked it. I thought it was very pretty. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, it'd be amazing to have you on board. This house will be available to download from the Sims 4 gallery under Origin ID simkim builds, but you can also find it under hashtag simkim. So don't forget to give me a follow over there to keep up to date with all my builds. But take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!